Yes, 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 yes.
Come on, wake
Hi.
up. People are here.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to CarYada. It's Saturday. What is it? April 12th.
12th of April already.
Do your taxes? You ready for your tax day?
I
Next
did
Tuesday?
my taxes. I'm all set with it. And because my tax preparer guy is in California, I actually am part of the reprieve, the financial reprieve for tax payments until October 15th.
Wow.
Yeah, because of the fires.
So you were not impacted, but he was.
He was impacted.
So we need to hire hire a bookkeeper from California as a secret.
Yes.
Anyway, this is Welcome to CarYada, yada, yada.
It's not tax yada.
It's not tax yada. That's another show.
That is another show.
This is the only show now on the Dan Network for the moment.
Oh, okay.
Because the Monday night movie show has been retired. We've sunsetted.
Yes. So all the other fans will be coming to this show.
Yes.
To be absorbing
all the fans. Excuse me.
All nine.
They already were on this show. Adam, here he is. Good morning. He's back home from his travels on the East Coast. He was in a totally different time zone for a while.
Oh, wow. In a different time zone, the beard actually retracts, and then it comes back to this time zone, and the beard goes back to the normal size.
Yeah.
It's
yeah, he said this is his only weekly fix left. Well, Eric and I have some ideas for some stuff. We're just taking some time off, but we came up with a couple of interesting potential podcast ideas. Probably won't be live streams. They'll probably be a recorded podcast and then clips on TikTok and YouTube and all that stuff. Anyway, the car industry is what we talk about here on CarYada.
Yes, we do.
Yada, yada, yada. I bought a car. Yada, yada, yada. I've got a BMW. Like, that really is my story.
That is your story. It seems like every month you buy a car.
I'm done.
You're done?
Well, I've got to get Josh something to drive when he gets his license. But other than that, I love this car. I almost want to do a driving episode again today.
Well, we should. You know what? Let's plan to do one next week.
We're going to do one more. A month and a half in. It is my favorite car ever.
That's great.
And I keep learning new technology things. Like, there's things I can adjust. I mean, it's so exciting.
That's good. And it's not only a fun car, it's a beautiful automobile. I mean,
it's a good looking car.
The detailing, the trim, and that's the type of quality you get when you buy a vehicle that's been very, very well developed over long periods of time.
Right. Part of the problem with some of the new builds, I mean, Polestar right now is in trouble.
Oh.
The Polestar 2 is not even on the American website right now because it's made in China. And they're really pushing the 3, which is made in South Carolina.
All right, go on.
Yes. And of course, tariffs today, no tariffs tomorrow. Pause on tariffs. Yeah. What a headache. How many people became multimillionaires off of that little blip?
Well, and there's a clip of King Trump in his court talking to all the wealthy people, and he's expressing to them, how much did you make?
Yeah.
How much did you make? You must have made $2.5 million. You must have made.
Yeah. That's insider trading.
I don't see how this is. Anyway.
All right. Also, is Charles Schwab still alive?
The Charles Schwab?
Yeah, because he introduced the guy. Because this is the actual Charles Schwab. You've heard of the bank. This is Charles Schwab.
Maybe it's Charles Schwab
the third.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the tariffs are off again for now, except for China, except for iPhones, computers, and tablets.
Right.
Including China. Now, there are no tariffs on. Isn't it weird that Tim Cook gave $1 million to Trump for his inauguration?
And now
all of a sudden, Apple's safe?
Well, now tariffs are still on. There's still a 10% tariff.
But on iPhones, on phones, computers, tablets, I think HDMI, some displays, no tariffs at all now.
No tariffs at all?
He got rid of the tariffs for those.
Okay, that's news to me because I thought uniformly 10% tariffs applied.
No, this just happened this morning.
So, okay, this morning he said.
I think so.
Oh,
let's look at the iPhone.
All right, because this is important because I'm working on a deal exporting a vehicle to Canada, and the person on the other end wants to wait until tariffs settle down. And I'm thinking, as I said to him, I said, I think we're on a moratorium now for 90 days. And we should be okay.
But there's still a 10%. Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Now, here's what it says. Friday, U.S. Customs and Border Protection narrowed the scope of levies by excluding the products from Trump's 125% China ban and his 10% global ban.
Oh,
Exclusions will apply to smartphones, laptop computers, hard drives, and computer processors and memory chips.
wow.
I mean, who needs those? Elon,
Yes. And
Apple.
pretty much every tech company.
Yeah.
And so that's interesting because then he made that announcement this morning or yesterday?
Last night, but basically today's when the news came out.
So it's after the market's closed. So when
Right.
the market's open tomorrow, the NASDAQ is going to...
It could probably, it'll probably jump quite a bit.
Yeah. So this gives people 3 days to prepare their...
Well, the problem was somebody leaked that he was going to put a 90-day ban on the day before, and there was a sudden little peak in insider buying. And then right before he did it, like apparently Marjorie Taylor Greene, again, I don't know if this is a fact,
right?
But apparently she invested like $250 during the dip that's worth $8.3 million now.
Oh, that's
like
helpful.
she picked some stocks just right, and right before he announced it, and then all the stocks went back up.
Well, you know,
but then stuff started going down again.
She's very clever when it comes to stocks. She's very smart. She must know this stuff so well. So you can't say that's insider trading. She probably talked to Trump, and Trump, who knows more about stocks than anyone.
So how does this relate to your car?
Well, parts, it does relate to your car. Absolutely.
Yeah, because parts is parts.
Yes, parts is parts, and parts are going to be more expensive. Insurance rates for automobiles are going to increase. And I think the worst scenario is we're going to end up with vehicles on the road that have more delayed maintenance because of the increased costs.
Yes.
Just looking at something like tires, for example. Tires will have an increased tariff, which means prices will go up, which will impact the lower margin, lower cost tires that relies more heavily on volume.
Now, if they're made in America, the rubber, is it coming from America?
Well, that's
the thing, is it's all the raw materials. This is not very well thought out.
No, you think?
I know. And, you know, I mentioned that, Ford had brought a bunch of cars over from Mexico.
Yes.
They were filling Arizona ahead of time.
Yep.
And Apple apparently 2 weeks ago or a week ago filled up, I think they said 4, it might have been 5 cargo jets filled with iPhones and got them all over stateside before the tariffs came in.
Sure.
Now, of course,
air transport is cheaper than paying the tariff.
Right. And I mean, how many phones can you fit on a 747 cargo liner? Where's our friend Martin? Martin could tell us.
Well, no, let's see.
I mean, you could probably fit hundreds of thousands of phones.
In one?
Because the box is this big.
That's true.
It's this big.
In one airplane, I don't think it'd be hundreds of thousands. It would certainly multiply to tens of 20,000.
See.
But if you had multiple planes, because if it's a cargo plane, it's not only the belly, it's the entire fuselage.
6 cargo planes had 1 million plus phones.
There you go.
From India, China, etc. Now, the big thing that a lot of people are talking about, I don't know why I said it that way, is Tim Cook was being interviewed, CEO of Apple.
Yes.
And he said, you can never make iPhones here. You can't do it. He goes, and he was in a small room, a little conference, let's say he's doing like a conference.
Mm-hmm.
He goes, if I got every person in the United States that is an expert in building the infrastructure for tooling, I wouldn't even fill this room. If I got all the people that are experts in China, I'd fill 3 stadiums.
Well, that's true.
He goes, they're educating their people. They're training their people.
Yeah.
They have the ability to do what we don't. It's not about cheap labor anymore.
Right.
It's about knowledge.
Well,
and we're way behind the curve.
Well, we're enormously behind because we gave up infrastructurally on training and mentoring and building some sort of process for all the people in our high schools to review whether or not they wanted to go into manufacturing and educate them at the same level that you educate somebody who's in college.
Right.
So instead of reading about Plato or Aristotle or studying the Second World War, you actually work on tooling. You work on the mechanics of making things, and you figure that stuff out. There are a lot of people that are um, 3D thinkers that are mechanically inclined, that know how to fix things. They have that mindset, and they tend to not thrive in Western-based education. So they fall behind. If we
Right.
were able to infrastructurally help them, like we used to have shop class, metal class,
Yeah.
welding. You could weld in high school. Now they won't let anybody near that stuff.
No.
So all
Everybody's
of
too
that type
fragile.
of stuff. I took classes where I was actually using power tools
Me too.
as a 13-year-old.
Yes.
Now they're, they
I
that's
made a
sound
shelf
is
that was
traumatic.
a maple leaf, and we had to cut it out
Yeah.
with a jigsaw. We made things with plastic where we would cut it, and then we'd heat it up and bend it and make like
Yep.
a box to hold tissue. I mean, we
Yeah.
did all these things
So
in
this
shop
is how
class.
cars get made.
Yeah.
And this is how young minds get into they get habituated into innovation when it comes to mechanical interactions. So when you're young and your brain works that way, then you can't help but look at other things in the future in order to build them in different ways. And that's a very, very infrastructural thing that has to be done. You have to have government support, you have to have educational support, you have to have community support, and that's what China's done.
Right.
And India is doing it too.
Right. And we can't. At this point, we can't just turn it on.
No, with
It's a multi-decade process.
Yes, it's generational.
Right.
And we have to continue to feed kids into the system and reward them for that. Right now, the only educational reward system for young people is advancing to college.
Right.
And even then, when you advance to college, there's no umbrella that says study this because of this.
Yep.
In China, they actually will work with the kids to figure out where their strengths are and where their natural tendencies and curiosities are, and then move them in those directions. Germany has an excellent mentorship, apprenticeship program for young people, because not everybody wants to go to college, and not everybody has that mindset to excel in academia.
Yes.
So the auto industry, and this is what happened in the after the Second World War, so many of young men came home that survived because they were working on equipment, repairing things, aircraft mechanics, fixing stuff. They came home and they went to work in our industries, and we saw like a second surge of industrial revolution.
Yes. Now we have some people commenting too on some things.
All right.
I want to get to some comments.
Let's get to some comments.
Dan Linquist says, we graduated just over years to losing manufacturing jobs to other countries. I wouldn't expect a rapid fix. Well, it's true. He's 100% right. And that's why I kind of said before I even saw this, it can't be fast.
Right.
You can't just turn it on. Right. Although we have more manufacturing, like I said last week, I was having people guess. We're number 2 in the world still.
Yeah.
There's an interesting statistic about economies. Our poorest state, our poorest state?
Is it Mississippi?
It is Mississippi.
Okay.
Do you know the economy of Mississippi is bigger than France?
Wow.
And the UK?
And it's the poorest
state. And it's the poorest state, yet its economy is bigger than France and the UK.
Must be the barbecue.
It's got to be something. But I mean, we are a powerhouse still.
Yeah.
We're looking to fix something that's not actually broken.
Yeah.
There are people that are making, for lack of a better word, shit money. The gap between
shitloads.
No, not shitloads. Shit, like they're making shit for money.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
But then there are people making
enough money.
They're making
They're making shit money, and then there's shitloads.
Then there's people making shitloads of money, and the gap is growing.
Yeah.
And I mean, literally, again, I'll get political for a second.
Right, because we're not being political now.
Trump wants to do a military parade for himself for his 79th birthday.
Oh.
They say it'll cost $320 million to do this parade, because they have to shut down the streets of DC. They have to fly all these people in, all the security.
Wow.
Some ridiculous number. Yet they're trying to say, I mean, if they just took $320 million and put it to veterans.
Yeah, that would be
Put it to homelessness.
Yes.
If they just said to him, you can't, he has spent more money already in 2 months than Biden spent in 4 years on vacationing.
But he's the king. He's entitled to that.
Anyway, what does Ray Pepper have to say? Jay Leno was great, but the audience looked like a nursing home.
Well, they are old.
I was the youngest at 58. You and I almost went to that. We couldn't go.
We could have been younger too. But I want to go back to
Yes.
Dan's comment, because Dan is a really good example. I don't know all of Dan's background, but exceptional mechanic. His mind works in mechanical ways. He's unafraid of digital tools, which is unusual to find someone at his age. Well, I should say our age. To be able
You're much older than me. Go ahead.
Yeah, to be able to take that leap between mechanical, hands-on gears and things into a digital world. So having both analog and digital processing skills, that's unusual. Young people today don't have that mix. It's very, very unusual to find a young person who's mechanically inclined and also digitally inclined, to where they have both of those skill sets. I'll just use your son Josh as an example. Josh is very, very aware of social media, digital tools, how to do things, is very facile in that way. I don't think if I open the hood of the engine for my car, I don't think he may be able to identify what the carburetor is, but taking it off the car would take some time.
Although he is extremely, and has been since he was very young, very into Legos and built with these tiny, I mean, he's very good at building. Even when I was visiting him back in January, for his birthday, I bought him, I guess it was February when we were in Atlanta. I bought him a Lego set, and he was in the hotel room and he was sitting there building.
But now here's the thing. There's no reward system during his young developing mind years that other than the internal satisfaction of making that, there's no external satisfaction for doing it. Instead, there's teasing. He wouldn't at certain age, maybe when he was 8, 9, and 10, he'd share with his friends. But by the time you get to be a teenager, if you talk about playing with Lego, people will tease you. They'll call you a nerd.
And I didn't realize saying he's 20 and he's bought Legos for his birthday is kind of a
and that's okay, because at that level, maybe he's achieved a comfort, around having that interest. But most people don't, and most people get teased, just like young girls. Young girls can be good at math until they're teenagers. Then if they're really good at math and they start doing
nerd,
yes, that's what happens.
Well, I had that happen with computers. I got a computer in 1983 for my bar mitzvah. I had a TRS-80 Tandy, the Tandy TRS-80 color computer, and my parents splurged because the 2K was standard.
Yeah, so I got
4K memory, not 4K video, 4K of memory.
So you could play Pong without a delay.
Yeah, and it was color. It was a big deal. It was a color computer. And I did have friends, including my brother, who made fun of me,
of course,
for being a computer nerd.
That's right.
And it turned, you kind of push it away,
right?
And then you look now. Now the other thing I'm noticing is like coding jobs. That was the future. Everybody learn how to code. Learn how to code. Well, AI has kind of killed that.
Well, AI has certainly put a big dent in it.
Learn how to use AI.
There you go.
To do.
So back to automobiles. It would be extremely difficult to get a team of people together today, young people that are focused and neurologically prepared to feel rewarded from doing mechanical work. Not saying there aren't people out there that are like that, but they are outliers to the overall. And with outliers, you cannot build the kind of infrastructure to do mega manufacturing in the United States, as you said, for another 30 to 40 years. You have to reinvent that. Let's check out some of our.
Here's what Ray has to say. Hot off the press, market is. We just said this, Ray.
Gonna soar Monday.
We just halted tariffs on computers, chips, phones, and solar. Too much pressure from Apple and all the semis. Too much pressure from Apple. They lost $640 billion in market value last 2 weeks. I'm going to be rich on Monday. Call me for a loan on Tuesday.
Okay, you're on, Ray.
Dan says the first time touching a computer was 1990.
Yeah, and see, for 1990. That's unusual because most people in our age group would have relied more heavily on their background and history and sort of calcified intelligence to be able to capitalize on that. Dan, being unusual, said, well, I'm going to put my hands on a computer in 1990. So he was unusual, but because of his early training in school when he was younger, he was encouraged to be curious about the way things worked.
Yes, encouraged to be curious.
Yeah,
and curious.
So, and that is no longer a significant component of our educational system, especially with young people.
Yeah.
Kids are being told to understand the test and work towards achieving the best results on the test.
Yes. ACAD fascinated him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, I have a theory. So, like, I know a lot of people, like Ray. Ray's a good example because Ray's 3 years older than me. My brother's 3 years older than me. I've got some friends that are 3 years older than me that are just not computer savvy. They are very much the people that were seniors in high school when I was a freshman, when I got my Tandy computer. They're just right on that bubble. I'm class of 88. I think we're probably the first graduating class that had we had computers our entire high school year.
Okay.
Whereas class of 85 just got them their senior year. So they barely touched them. So I think that there's this weird window of my age is probably the oldest group that are more computer savvy than even people a year or two older than me.
Right.
And a lot of people like Dan, like yourself, you got into it because your technology, your field you were in, I mean, you had computer stuff that was necessary. When you were doing industrial design, but now you can do industrial design. I mean, I literally told, did I save this picture?
Siri or whatever the hell
I told ChatGPT to create, there's this thing where you can create these action figure sets. Yes. I said, create one for me. And I'll share this on the screen if I can figure out how to do it real quick.
That's hilarious.
Let me email it to
myself. I like that he's eating pizza.
Yeah. And I don't know why there's an extra arm and an extra piece of pizza.
Yeah, because ChatGPT doesn't know how many arms go on a human.
Yeah.
Well, look, and this is a really good point because, again, I grew up working on cars. I'm 10, 11, 12 years old, and my dad tells me, change the oil.
Right.
And you'd think he'd sit with me and change the oil with me, but he said, change the oil. And
figure it out.
I had to figure it out. And I said, well, can you give me some clues as to what to do or how to do it? And he said, solve the problem on your own, and you'll learn a lot more along the way. And he was absolutely right. I still remember the first time I changed oil because it was like a brand new thing that I had to figure out without somebody holding my hand through it.
Yes.
And that's I think a big part of what's no longer available to us. Simple things like you'd buy a little plastic model kit and you'd open it up and you'd have to put it together in a certain way in order to get the result you wanted. That takes a lot of thinking and a lot of processing skills.
Yeah.
And the same thing is true for manufacturing. People think, well, just hire that guy, he'll bolt that wheel onto that hub. That's not how it is anymore. You have to understand a lot more sophisticated processes, and
there's a lot to it.
Yeah, it's so much more. And robots can only do so much manufacturing. They need a lot of programming and a lot of testing and a lot of checking to see if things fit and a lot of tooling refinement. There's all sorts of work that goes into building an automobile. And then you have cell phones, which are even more complex.
Yes. I'm trying to pull this picture up. It's not easy to transfer. For some reason, I can't get it to do what I wanted it to do.
Your email box is a horror show.
I'm glad you think that.
I just looked at it briefly.
There we go.
I've never seen that many drafts. All right, let's get to our comments.
Wrestling with drum brake springs at age 12 was interesting and frustrating, but he got it done.
Yeah.
And I didn't know you were on the wrestling team. We're going to get an auction update but first let's look at this picture real quick.
Okay. So this is ChatGPT's AI illustration of Dan as an action figure.
Yes.
Right.
Image file. Here we go. So
got a little bit of Eugene Levy going there.
Basically, I took a picture. I just wanted to test to see how this worked. And I had taken a picture of myself right beforehand. There's the picture I took.
Oh. Okay.
And that's what I mean. It got the whole Journey T-shirt I was wearing.
Yeah, it did.
How crazy is that?
That's pretty good. It has your general gesture and expressions. And why do you have three arms though? That's
Well,
creepy.
I think
Well, maybe that's
an
inside the
accessory.
box. Okay.
Yeah. I've got a killer set list. I don't know why it says Bainbridge Performing Arts November 17th through 19th.
They must have grabbed that
from something in the history. But I've got a piece of pizza. Apparently I like pizza. There's the stool.
So here's the thing. If you had asked me as a designer, can you do this for me? I would have said yes. And I would have put together a pretty lifelike or realistic looking rendering of this by hand. I would have done it with markers and colored pencils and maybe even some airbrush. And then I would submit it to you and they'd go, wow, that's great. Can we make them? And then I would have to go through the making process. I'd have to find a vendor that does packaging. We'd have to make a mold for the plastic cover. We'd have to figure out how to tool the accessories, and then we'd have to go through that whole process in order to get it.
Yeah.
And then we would take the prototype, put it up, and say coming soon, and we'd take orders. And people would place orders for 2,500, and we'd go and we'd make 5,000 because we figure by the time we do it,
right,
we want to have something. And then we'd make 5,000 of them, and then we'd go and sell them. Today, all you got to do is what you did. Boom, put it up.
This was literally 3 minutes.
Yeah.
And I could put this up and say, all right, pre-order now.
Right.
I mean, are we going to make them? No. Maybe we will.
But here's the amazing thing. All you have to do now is if you give that image to me, I'll send it to my actually two factories, one for packaging and one for the actual parts itself.
Right.
And this is all they need. And this is in China. And within weeks, I'll have an actual physical sample in my hands. I can say, here you go, Dan. What do you think? And you go, oh my God, how did you? Oh my God, it's so real. That's how good they are.
How much would that cost, though?
That's the other thing.
Right. I mean, this costs $0.
This costs $0, but the hand sample probably be $1,500.
Yeah.
Which is, there's no way you could make it in. I would have charged back when I did this type of stuff in the 80s and 90s. I'd charge $500 to $1,000 just to do the artwork.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what's
Adam
happening.
says he hates AI, or is it A1?
A1.
Did you hear about that?
No.
Linda McMahon.
This is going to be good.
Linda McMahon,
Yes,
who is our Secretary of Education. She's talking about, they're teaching these kids the A1 in school now. She called AI A1. Can we get dumber people? Is it possible?
Think it's possible. I just don't think it's possible.
Anyway.
Oh my goodness.
So that's those will be available on next Saturday at the big show at BPA.
They will be.
No, we will. Although we will have
coasters.
We will have coasters available, and we will also, if anybody wants one, we will have the festival cards from the festival.
And back to automobiles, because that's
what we're here about cars.
We're here about cars. Used cars prices are going up.
Yes, and now here's an auction report from Ray, and then I've got some insight to the auctions since I kind of work.
See how we're doing at the auctions.
Used cars under 10 are spendy, and the fees are outrageous. I bought a car for $1,500 on Wednesday. The auction fees for a red light, meaning as is, car was $430. Wow. Diag fees in the mech shop went from $55 to $150. Really, they went up to $115 an hour. I want to remind everyone to come to visit Ford Used Cars in Bremerton. It's beautiful Pacific free Dutch Brothers coffee just for asking for him. Restrictions apply.
All right.
Next week we might come see you again.
Yeah, that's right.
We might do another drive next week.
We'll do another drive and get a Dutch
This is my car 45 days in. I've got the plates already.
Oh, that's nice. I'm surprised you didn't get personalized plates.
I might this time.
Yeah.
You know what's available?
What? Oh, 147?
Just 147.
Just 147.
It's a lot's available too.
Really?
Yeah. But I thought if I get that on my car, people look at it and go, oh, they think they're talking about the price of the car, but it's not. What'll be fun is to put that plate on the Pontiac.
Yeah.
But
that's
I've already got a 70s plate. I don't want to updo that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so auction prices are through the roof at the moment.
Yes.
Because people are freaking out. People are freaking out about the new car issue.
Mm-hmm.
We may not have enough new cars to go around.
Right.
And now with this 90-day pause, people are going to probably start, stockpiling cars so they have a good inventory.
Yeah.
When it all comes to shit. I think cars right now are obviously convertibles. Now's the only time to really sell a convertible at auction because it's going to get all the money for the next few months and then it's going to drop again because I have that 95. We've never done a show in that car yet.
Oh,
maybe
right.
That's the car we need to do next week.
But not to the car wash.
No, we do not go to car washes with anything other than my new car.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, because we have to sell that. That's a 95 Volkswagen Cabriolet. Brand new roof, brand new tires, brand new axle, brand new radiator,
Move
brand
that
new
one
timing.
along.
Yeah. Oh no, 115 for the 30-minute diagonal. Hourly is $200 now.
Wow.
Auction used to be the cheap way to get your car worked on.
$200 an hour
at the auction.
Wow.
Used to it's yeah, that's odd.
That's just crazy.
I will tell a good story about how important cleaning your car is for auctions. And you know this from Bring a Trailer.
Sure.
We had at Auto Trader this person here in Seattle offered up. They listed a 2002 Pontiac Trans Am Firehawk Edition.
Oh,
black on black,
nice,
6-speed.
Yeah,
106,000 miles.
Not bad.
T-tops look like they leaked a little. Been sitting outside, so it's moss everywhere.
Yeah.
And we bought it for $7,000, and people thought I was insane.
Yeah.
It's an automated algorithm that prices it, and I lowered it a little bit because of there's a couple of issues with it. But I said it's going to the Seattle auction. I know that the guys that detail there do an amazing job because they have for Ray. And I said, get this car detailed before you take pictures, and then price it at $9,500. And within 30 minutes of it going up, sold.
Sold for $9,500.
And it looked, mwah.
Yeah.
I don't know if it ran. I mean, I know it ran and drove. It didn't have a high score. It was probably like a 2.2. Yeah. Somebody in Alabama bought it.
Absolutely.
But if that would have gone and Bring a Trailer, because I was trying to justify it.
Teens.
Yeah, because
absolutely.
02 is the last year.
Yep.
The Firehawk was a limited numbered edition.
Right.
There's a plaque on the dashboard.
And it's a manual.
And it's a stick.
Yeah.
And it was here in Seattle. And my thought was, if it doesn't, I'll tell Ray to buy it.
Yeah.
And then he could flip it.
That's a car, absolutely get that car into the teens.
Yeah.
A Trans Am sells from that same basic era. Trans Am will sell in the teens. Really nice ones, I think, are 20 something.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah. See, there you go.
Lowest sale was 17.5. Top was 46.2.
Yeah.
Now I'm wondering if there are any if that one is actually out there anywhere yet.
It probably will be at some point, because all you'd need to do with something like that is just run through it mechanically, brake and tire it, and make sure it doesn't have any odd smells inside it, and really, really put a heavy undercarriage detail on it, and then you'd get it into the probably into the 20s. Miles are high for that type of car. Usually you see these with 35, 50,000.
Yeah.
Yeah,
let me share the screen so you can see what I'm talking about.
Yeah. But yeah. And
now, mind you, this is a car.
It didn't look like that.
The interior looked, when they were done with the detail, I'm not going to lie, the interior looked very much like that.
Nice.
The engine looked very close to that when they were done with the detail. The car shined. Yeah. It had aftermarket black wheels.
Right.
It did not have these wheels. They didn't have the factory wheels.
Well,
but still, somebody paid $9,500 for it.
Yeah. Now this car is a 2,000 mile original.
Yeah.
So this is going to get the very best number. But yeah.
But I mean, I remember selling these.
Oh yeah, that's right.
When I was at Livingston Pontiac in Los Angeles back in the 90s, when this new body style first came out, the Firehawk was an aftermarket, SLP, which I forgot what that stood for. It was another company that it was like their AMG.
Yeah.
It was a customized thing, and they only made 1,000 a year or something like that.
SLP. I'm trying to figure out what specialty
license plate. No.
It's like ASC, American Sunroof Company. They had those, or AMG.
Street Legal Performance.
That's it. SLP.
SLP is a company known for producing enhanced performance parts for American muscle cars.
There you go.
So, Street Legal Performance.
Yeah, Pontiac had all these kinds of things. Did you ever hear of something called a Macho TA?
Macho.
Macho TA. It was actually a special Trans Am.
Oh, that's still up.
That was made.
Oops. I was presenting the wrong thing.
Oh, it was a special Trans Am edition that had been done.
I meant to present this.
The Macho TA. So,
is that our old school?
I guess we could, but it's.
I was trying to
pretty
show
rare.
the
There's the SLP Firehawk.
There, that's the one I was talking about. Sorry, I didn't realize I didn't show it.
Yeah, this was a very innovative design for this.
Look what Ray says. Should have held on to that convertible, huh?
Yeah. What's your rock
bottom price and what's the lowest you'll go? How should we respond to these replies in private sales of a car? That's a great question, Dan. This is what the show's about right there.
Okay.
You just nailed our show in a nutshell. I have multiple ways of answering this.
All right, you go first and then I'll.
Okay. What's your rock bottom price? I was telling the story the other day. I won't do an Indian accent because that's offensive.
Okay.
For some reason.
Well,
if that's what the people actually sound like, but that's still offensive. Back in 93, Livingston, Pontiac, when I worked there, we got a trade-in of a Toyota Cressida, an 88, I believe, maybe an 87. And my boss, who was not politically correct whatsoever, made several racial slurs about the Indian culture.
Oh, dear.
And said, they will be calling you immediately. As soon as we put this in the newspaper for $79.99, he goes, you'll have nothing but Indian people calling.
For a Cressida.
For the Toyota Cressida. Apparently the Cressida
why
in India was like the Rolls Royce.
Oh, okay.
The Cressida was like the shiznit. This is right before Lexus came out. So this is like a luxury Toyota. And literally he could not have been more correct. The phone rang. First call I got for the car. Thick Indian accent, but immediately negotiating.
Immediately.
What is your best price through the door? Not out the door, through the door.
Through the door.
I remember, what is your best price through the door? And they want to know out. And I said, my answer as a salesperson was, the most you'll pay.
The most you'll pay.
Yeah. My lowest price is the most you'll pay. Because that's a negotiation, right? It's whatever what's the most you'll pay? I flip it back on them. And the guy literally, $3,000. I'll do $3,000. This is an $8,000 car.
Yeah.
Sticker or price, asking price. He wanted $3,000 out the door, which means it's like $1,900, $2,100 plus tax and fees. So my initial response to this is when someone, what's the lowest you'll go? I'm like, well, the highest you'll go. As a joke, I start there.
Right.
Or I go $1 million. I immediately make it funny. Or I'll say, I got a little wiggle room. What are you thinking? Mm-hmm. Those are usually my go-to responses. When somebody says, what is your rock bottom price? I go, I don't sell rocks. And when I do, I sell them at the top.
So I don't mess around with any of that. If somebody asks me what my bottom line is or what the lowest price is that I'll go, I will almost always tell them, look, plain and simple. The car is priced at market value. If you can find another one that is lower than my asking price, show me the ad. I'll review that ad and the quality of that car, and I'll adjust my price to what you think is right. Otherwise, the lowest I'm going to go is the price I'm currently asking, because I have not found another one that is as nice as this for the price I'm asking. But if you can, I will certainly consider that and lower the price for you. Because most people, the one thing most people don't want, and Dan, always remember this, no one wants homework. The minute you give somebody homework, when they're asking you to do something, they're done. They're out. They won't do the homework because no one wants homework. And that's the way I usually get rid of people that are trying to lowball me. I give them homework, and they just can't do it. They won't do their homework.
But do you price yours with a little bit of room just so you can go?
Always.
Yeah. So if you're asking 10 grand for a car, somebody goes, listen, I can do 8.
Yeah.
You can do, well, let's meet in the middle.
Yeah, usually what I say, if they say, well, I can do 8, I say, well, look, I'm at 10, you're at 8. There are a lot of numbers in between. Let's pick one. And they go 8,100. I go
9,900.
9,900.
We'll be here
Let's
all
keep
day.
going. Yeah, exactly. But it's a really good price, or it's a really good point, because pricing is the thing that most people will go to. So oftentimes what I'll do, if I can tell that they're immediately price conscious, then I don't even waste time talking about the fact that I just got tires, I just did the brakes, because none of that means anything to them.
Right.
If I haven't done anything to a car and I have very little invested in it and I just want it out the door, if they tell me what the least price is I'll take for it, usually I'll come back to them and say, look, I haven't done anything to it. It's going to need tires. It's going to need brakes. It's going to need this.
I priced it accordingly.
I priced it with those things in mind. So that's my lowest price.
Which is what I did with the Cabriolet.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the Volkswagen. I had some people interested in it during the last car show this summer. And they were like, I had it for $7,900.
Yeah.
And I go, this $7,900 includes fixing the mirror, fixing the bumper, and fixing the radio.
Yeah.
Because those are the 3 things left. If you don't want me to fix those, I will lower the price, obviously, so you can fix them.
That's another, again, you're giving them homework.
Right.
No one wants homework. That's the amazing thing that I found. It's just they don't want it because they don't want the responsibility, and they don't want to think they have to do something.
It's also, if you look at when you go, remember Sit and Sleep in California? It was the mattress store.
Oh, the mattress store. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
We'll beat any advertised price,
Yes.
or your mattress is free.
Free, yeah.
So all they have to do is meet the
Right.
price. So they never have to give one away.
Right.
And the mattress industry is so corrupt. All of their stock numbers, the model numbers, are unique for them.
Because everybody takes it laying down.
Oh. You mean they take it in the sheets? Anyway. So all their stock numbers are unique. So you're right. If you say go do homework,
Right.
go find this mattress at another store, you can't
find it
because that model number does not exist anywhere else.
Yeah.
So it's scammy, but it also forces people to go do homework.
Right. Well, because people come back and they go, well, look at this one. I go, well, that's an automatic and it's green. No one wants a green one. Or that one doesn't have a sunroof. This one has a sunroof. It's not the same
There's
car.
no used car factory.
That's right.
So with used cars, yeah. The other thing is you'll see dealerships, some of them in Bremerton have this, the $1,000 price guarantee. If we can't match or beat any other advertised price, we'll give you $1,000. Well, it's not just an ad. You have to actually have a purchase order.
The purchase order.
You have to have the purchase, which means you have to go to a dealership, go through all the steps to buy a car, get them to print you out a purchase order with the price of the exact same year, make, model.
Yeah.
And then you have to take it back to this dealership and say, here.
Ugh, sounds like homework.
But the thing is, if you have a dealership willing to do that, of course, this dealer's going to be willing to do it too.
No one wants homework.
Yeah,
I'm telling you.
It's too much.
What else we got here before we're out of time?
Robert Moss says, sorry to be late.
Here.
Good morning.
Nice to see you, Bob.
We live near a Hindu temple. I can say on festival day, the neighborhood is covered with Teslas, Lexuses, Acuras, etc. But are they and them driving Toyota Cressida?
Cressida.
Again, this is 93.
Well, yeah. Then the Cressida was the top of the line back then.
All right. Here's your answer to rock bottom price. Depends on your highest offer.
Yeah.
Works great. Customer goes, huh?
Yeah.
This will be in an episode of the show. I'll say make me an offer to start negotiating, but commonly silence, no reply.
Yeah.
He who speaks first loses.
That's right. It's the same thing with the keys. If you're selling a car and someone comes to drive the car and they come back, you stand on the other side of the car because they've taken the keys out of the car. They're holding the keys. If they're holding the keys, they think that it's their car.
Right.
So they hand you the keys or try to hand you the keys. Don't take the keys.
Right.
Be strategically in a different position so you don't take the keys. If they hand you the keys, chances are they don't want the car.
Right.
And so you know that. Now the reverse works when you're buying a car. When you're done driving the car and taking it for a test drive, make sure when you get if they don't take the keys from you, put the keys down on the table somewhere, put them on the center console, but get those keys out of your hand if you're buying a car, because that means you've suckered yourself into, and they know it. Good salesperson will know that. But with the offer, when they say, give me an offer and everything goes quiet, if they don't say anything, usually what I'll do is I'll say, look, I'm going to make you an offer, and I'll knock $500 off of it. I'll say I'll go to here, and that's it. I said the car's only been advertised for maybe a week. I
Right.
said you're the third person that called and the first person here, so I'll give it to you for $500 less.
Right. Sometimes what I'll throw in is I'll advertise the price and figure out what fees are,
Mm-hmm.
and I'll say, you know what, pay what I'm asking, and I'll cover your tax and your registration.
There's always something like, and that's the other side of it too. If you take on the homework, they're more likely to buy the car. So if you say, look, if you agree to this price, I'll get tires for it. I'll make sure it gets fresh oil change. I'll take care of this, and then you take on the homework. People like that.
Yeah. Now, we said that already. Now we have a stump.
Oh,
I sent you a picture of a $1,500 car. Runs great. No body damage. Why was it only $1,500 instead of $5,000?
okay. This should be interesting. So we're looking at our.
There it is.
Oh my goodness. That's 2013 Mini Hardtop Cooper S. It's a Cooper S. It's 2013.
101,000 miles, front wheel drive, turbo, gasoline, automatic, premium synthetic. Why did you get this for $1,500 and it should have been $5,000? My guess would be, here's my first guess.
Okay.
Although normally this would be announced, I'm going to guess salvage title.
So that's a good guess. My first guess was
See if I can
these are notorious. Mini Coopers are notorious for ruining their engine at around 80 to 100,000 miles. So my guess is the engine is toast, or there's some indication that it's.
Yeah, I can't see what the CR is. What's really cool is see the tunnel that they're driving through?
Yeah.
Looks like garage doors.
Yeah.
So these are lights, and they go all the way around the car, and there are cameras all over, and they literally just drive through, and the AI picks the best pictures. Like, this car's moving.
Wow.
They don't park it. They used to park them, put them in a sometimes they had a circle thing that would spin around.
Mm-hmm.
Now they drive through, and it also takes a picture of the undercarriage.
So
it gets all the angles.
Yeah. 1,500 is a good buy on
now
that
he's
car.
saying he says it runs great, and it has a 3.5 CR out of 5. And you got it for $1,500. The other, I'm 3.5. There's no body damage.
There must be some.
It's something with the title.
Maybe there's an awful odor in the interior.
That would bring down the CR a little bit. Let's see what he said next. No damage. All I can guess is it's got to have something with the title or the registration, or it's Canadian.
Canadian may be a possibility.
Or it has, if you bought it out of California, it's got $4,000 in DMV fees.
Yeah, that's a good buy.
Rebuilt title.
Oh,
there you go.
Rebuilt title. Yeah.
There you go. $1,500 though. That's, who cares? Why is it a rebuilt title? It could be. What does it say? Could it be? It used to be if your car was stolen and a theft recovery, they gave it a salvage title.
Right.
Now what the insurance companies have done is if there's no damage to the car, they'll just title the car to themselves and sell it at auction as a clean title. They no longer give the title back to the seller when it's recovered and has to be claimed as salvaged. Although theft recovery does look bad on the Carfax, you can get a clean title still.
But rebuild is different from salvage.
Depending on the state.
Yeah. So you can have a car that was damaged beyond the point of the insurance covering it from totaling it, but you can have it repaired,
right,
and then buy back your title as a rebuild, not a salvage.
Salvage and rebuild in this state are the same.
Oh, they are
in Washington. Okay. If I'm not mistaken, Ray, correct me if I'm wrong.
Because I thought a rebuild is different from a salvage.
Right. Now Dan's guess was it was maybe a repo. Repo actually won't hurt the value that much,
but it has to be reported.
No, it's not. Repossession. Repossession is not a title brand.
Oh, I thought it.
No, repossession is not. And the disadvantage to repossession, I bought lots of repos back in the day. The disadvantage is they're typically not well taken care of. The reason the person's car got repoed is because they couldn't afford to make their monthly payment.
Are you? Well, of
yes,
course you're sure
I'm sure. Repossessions are not a brand.
Even now,
it's not a brand. Branded is only for total loss, and that's not a total loss.
Okay.
A repossession has nothing to do with insurance.
I'd want to know as a buyer. I'd want to know that car was repossessed.
It would be on the Carfax. It would be reported on the Carfax.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll show up. No, it might not show up all the time on the Carfax.
I've never seen it recorded on a Carfax. And I know there are cars out there that have been repossessed, but I've never seen it.
I mean, that's just a transaction. It's just like saying your car got towed. That doesn't show up.
That's
if you got a parking ticket and it got impounded, sometimes impound records will show up on auto check.
Yeah, well,
I'll find a car. I know I've seen it on a Carfax before. I've seen repossession. He ever rarely buys rebuild, but desperate times, desperate measures. Salvage gets promoted to rebuild after state inspection upon my last check.
Okay, that's why I've seen it. I've seen it on Washington titles as rebuild. So if it's called out as a separate brand in the brand classification, then I figure that's different from salvage.
What are possible brands? I'm going to spell fast. On a Washington state title.
Rebuilt for rebuilt vehicles, salvaged, junk,
contaminated,
reconstructed, contaminated.
Others
decontaminated. Contaminated, decontaminated, salvage, junk.
Salvage title has been rebuilt to a safe, operable condition.
That's what a salvage title is with rebuild.
Right. So salvage is when they take it just for parts. Junk means it's no longer capable
of safe operation.
Reconstructed means it's significantly altered from the original manufacturer's design. Lemon, I know about lemon, an odometer rollback.
That can be a brand.
Yeah. Now let's look at the actual Washington website before we.
Well, destroyed is one. I'd not seen that before.
Salvage destroyed, salvage retention, salvage stolen, damage. Salvage other.
Saltwater damage is different from flood damage.
Yeah.
Does that say totaled? I thought it said toasted.
Well, you like I said, you will not see
repossessed
because that's repainted is one.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
There you go.
Okay. Wow.
If the original parts engine, maybe the cost caused such a replacement. Is it the original engine transmission? Yeah, I mean, you could total a car mechanically.
Yes.
Typically, insurance companies don't get involved with that, though.
Well, that's true. Because, like my brother, he has a Mini Cooper.
Does he want another one?
No. The car was worth around $5,000. I remember him calling me and he said, well, the shop wants $4,300 to replace the engine because the engine's gone. And he takes care of his car, he's regular oil changes and all that. But Mini Coopers are notorious for eating motors. So to replace the engine for, $4,300, I said, look, how much longer are you going to keep the car? It's worth it to keep it, just do it. So he did it. And that was 10 years ago. Still has the car runs great and everything. But it's still a $4,000 car.
Right.
So,
but 10 years worth of use.
That's right.
Yeah.
So there's some value in that to it. And that's why people go ahead and have them rebuilt. But I don't, his title is not branded because I asked him to.
Right, because that's just mechanical.
Right.
Yeah. Now,
same thing with repaint, which surprises me because you can get a car repainted.
Yes.
It's a service provided to the vehicle. It's not a VIN.
I might be color change. That's so they like if you change the color of a vehicle, they have to notate it. Now it doesn't make the car worth less. Certain brands like taxi use, livery use, which is what they're putting on all people that use their car for Uber,
right,
or getting taxi use in a lot of states. Those are brands. Former police vehicle, that's a brand. So branded title immediately people.
How about ice cream truck?
Yes.
That's a brand.
Neapolitan, it's called. They have to color it 3 ways. Sprinkles.
What's your favorite ice cream?
Probably like a coffee and a chocolate mix of some sort, like a mocha. Maybe. I don't have ice cream that often anymore since I've cut the sugar back.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So going back real quick, when I started working at Tread, which is now Auto Trader Private Seller Exchange, when I started working at Tread over in Capitol Hill, all the people would say, "Oh, it's a branded title. We can't buy. We can't do the car." I'm like,
"Don't touch it."
Branded title does not always mean bad.
You have a classic brand.
You could have classic.
Which is not a bad thing.
Once you put the plates on the car,
antique or classic,
right? It now gets that brand on the title. If you choose to put daily driver plates on a car, it no longer would have that on the new title.
Right.
So it might have, you can change a brand as well. If a car was previously used as a taxi, now it's a daily driver, or previously a cop car, that doesn't stay with it forever.
You cannot change a salvage title brand, though, I don't think. You may be able to change it in Washington to a rebuild.
Well, you can never make it a clean title, although I purchased a car, you might remember this one, from Insurance Auto Auctions 15 years ago. It was a Saturn Vue.
Okay.
And the front was smashed. I
remember
bought the part.
Yeah.
I bought the part on Amazon or on eBay. Richard Malzahn and I sprayed it.
Yep.
I went and had it inspected because the door had a hole in it still from the accident. I didn't have the door thing. The guy said, no, it won't pass. You can't have a hole in your door. The old guy in Bremerton that does inspections twice a week.
Okay.
So he said, bring it back with the door fixed and you'll be fine. So I brought it back. A couple weeks later, I found the actual door skin, same color, just swapped it out, went back, signed off on it. The title showed up, clean title.
Clean title.
Now, this was a car I had a bill of sale on. I bought it from an auction with a bill of sale, pending inspection, came back with a clean title. Turns out, after 10 years, if the car is over 10 years old, they don't care. So if you buy an older car in a bill of sale and you fix it, you can actually get a clean title.
Interesting.
Because then I sold it to the guy here in the building. I think I was in it $2,200. I said, hey, $2,500, you can have it. I just want to get rid of it. And I said, it's good. I said, I'll be honest. It's when the title shows up, it's going to be he knew the whole background. He said, I just need a good car for my daughter. I said, perfect. The car is low miles. It'll run forever. And the title showed up, a clean title. I go, you got a deal.
Yeah.
I said, I sold it to you as I thought it was going to be a salvage title, a rebuilt title. So things like that happen too.
There you go.
What brings a CR immediately to one Mannheim? Typically,
explain what a CR is.
CR is your condition report. It's actually AG, your auto grade. Auto grade is the industry standard, 0 to 5.
Okay.
If a car does not run and drive and it's in the TRA sale, a non-running driving car is a 0. They just give it a 0. Now, sometimes a car will be running and driving when it gets to the auction. So it'll get, let's say, a 3.4. It's in really good shape. It looks nice. There's some things and dents. But then all of a sudden it dies. So they sent it to TRA, which is Total Resource Auction. That was Mannheim's version of Copart, basically. That's where they sold their salvage and their insurance cars. So it would show up as a 3.4 and the TRA sale. And you go, well, it's a non-running car. How does it have a 3.4? Well, that's just the condition.
Okay.
But immediately, yes, if the car is a non-runner, I think it goes to a 1 immediately if it's a non-runner, and it goes to a 0 if it's damaged in a non-runner. I'm almost sure of that.
Do 5s ever show up?
Yes. Here's what's crazy. We just bought a 17 Dodge Charger.
Okay.
4-door Dodge Charger Scat Pack.
Yeah.
Paid all the money for it. I thought we overpaid. But looking at it, the average, because the algorithm we use takes the average of all cars that year, make, and model. What is their average CR score or auto grade, basically? And the average was like a 4.1. So it's priced based on a 4.1. I looked at it. I go, this is probably a 4.5. It's got maybe a scratch here. It showed up as a 5.0.
Wow.
And we immediately raised the floor, the reserve on the car, because you don't want to give it away.
Sure.
And the car went from like 35 as the MMR Market Mannheim report, and we had it listed at 34, to 39 as a 5.0. So we listed at 37.5. So we still go below MMR. And MMR is kind of the standard that a lot of places use, because that's the historical number that car sold for at auction. And that's kind of a guesstimate of what it should sell for.
Now, we're coming to we're at the end.
Oh, yeah, we're at the end.
And I'm surprised you did not have a comment on the video I sent you, which actually isn't a video.
It's a song. And that's the problem, is I didn't have my volume up. I'm like, there's no video here.
You got to turn the volume up and listen to it. Can you broadcast volume on this? Or can we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, why don't you, what was it? I can look it up real quick on here. What was it called? Remember?
Gadfly Toyota Camry.
Gadfly Toyota
on
Camry
YouTube.
videos.
That's
There it is, right there.
Yeah.
All right. Now this might get us flagged for copyright rules, but we'll find out.
No, I don't think it will be.
All right. Stop sharing. Present. Share screen.
I can't believe this. I think it's great.
Hey, I drive my old Toyota Camry every day to get me by in the streets. Toyota Camry, I don't need nothing complex, I just need something to get me from A to B. From A to B, I pretend you got money, we all know it is not the reality. Reality, ain't fancy, but how about we backtrack, I say nothing beats the OG. I drive Toyota Camry, everybody be looking at me. Hey, I drive Toyota Camry, everybody be looking at me.
What wormhole?
I just wanted to say it again.
Wow.
Hey, I'm on the road to be taking my time. I do not have a reason to rush. You snoozing, you losing, while I just be cruising. I ain't got lots of room for your touch. No Ferrari, Bugatti, I don't need an Audi. I already got one packs a bunch. The latest Mercedes does not get the ladies. I have a hand, royal flush. I drive Toyota Camry.
Millions of views or
Everybody be looking at
I
me.
don't think anybody cares.
I drive Toyota Camry. Everybody be looking at me. Hey.
There you go.
We do the dance for it.
There you go.
Working off you guys. All right. Well, we'll end the show on that today. All right, Gadfly, you just got 2 pennies or whatever for us playing that.
Yeah.
If we didn't get kicked off of every streaming platform. If you have any questions during the week, reach out to us. However, comedy Tuesday night. Raffi may or may not show up for the workshop.
Yeah, it depends on how much work I have, how much time I have to spend on that car.
Where is it? Is it on the island?
It's on the island. Yeah.
Just be done by 5.
I've tried, but it's hard to do.
And then Saturday night, we have a big show at the BPA. Next Saturday, it's the Johnny Five show. It's hard to explain what the Johnny Five show is to people.
I think because many people don't remember who Johnny Carson is.
I know. And that's part of the problem. So
maybe you should have called it the Leno Five.
Not even that. People are like, I mean, he said how old the people were.
Yeah.
Johnny.
So who is it?
So
the Letterman Five? Can you say Letterman Five?
No, because it was the goal back in the day. Let me just explain this before we go. Quick comedy side note. Back in the 80s, everybody just wanted to get their Johnny Five. That was their 5-minute slot to get on the Tonight Show. They just worked on their set. And it was actually, I think, 5.5 or 6 minutes was the actual. But it was just called Get My Johnny Five. Now, the movie Short Circuit, the robot was called Johnny Five, which is totally separate. But you just wanted to get your 5-minute set. So I'm working on what is my 5-minute set. And then what we're going to do is it's a live show in the studio at BPA, the smaller space. Our cameraman editor, Scott, is going to record it. We're going to record it like on 4K, like my TRS-80 Tandy color computer. And we have 7 comics total, including myself. So 6 other comics. They're all going to come out and do their best as if they're doing their Tonight Show set. And what this is good for is when you go to try to get booked at a club, even if you have a YouTube special, they know those are edited. They know those are a couple of shows put together, audience shots. You've got all these different angles. They want to see straight on, 5 minutes straight, no edits of your best material. It's a great way to audition for things. It's great. It's a great tool to have. I don't have it. And so I figure I'm going to, what's the best way to do this? I'll set up a show and I'll also have 6 other comics do it with me. And if it goes well, everybody's going to do it. I'm going to write a monologue and do like Johnny Carson at the beginning. I'm going to get you hear about these roundabouts.
No one knows who Johnny Carson is anymore.
Oh, the people at BPA will know.
Well, that's true.
We have an older audience. Anyway, I'm going to do an opening monologue, introduce each comic. They're going to get to do their 5 minutes. Then we're doing a quick intermission. And then every comic can do the same 5 if they want to polish it a little bit, if they realize they want to change the order, or they can do a totally different 5. So you have 2 5-minute sets. And it'll be a fun show. Yeah.
All right. And that's Saturday.
Yes. And don't forget, get your free Dutch Brothers coffee. Restrictions apply. So yeah, that's next Saturday. And then I got a big travel thing. I'm gonna be at I'm going to be at Flappers Comedy Club in Burbank the following week.
Oh,
How about that? I'll be in beautiful downtown Burbank.
Burbank.
There you go. All right. That's all. We're going to get out of here. Here's that song that's going to be annoying you until the end of